Black Ram 313 back again because you know this shit is therapeutic, man. Black Ram 313, also known as Black Ram for Vengeance, and if you have not yet, subscribe, listen to my channel, Black Ram for Vengeance. I say a lot of things over there that I don't particularly like to say on this channel. So check me out. This video today is in response to the frequency and the amount of men that reach out to me asking the same question. How can they get over their addiction? Their addiction to women. Their attachment to the female species. How to get over women. How to get over her. And I received many emails detailing the pain, the agony that many men suffer in their relationships. How many of them are used, taken advantage of by these cold, callous women over and over again. These are the experiences of many men, including myself. I have been where you are over and over again. I've had my heart broken over and over again. And I've also have broken hearts as well. I remember a time in my life where I felt suicidal over a breakup in my younger years. Yes, suicidal. I am human. I don't claim to be anything great. This is a journey for me, just like it's a journey for all of you. With ups and downs, ebbs and flows, victory as well as defeat. Let's keep it real. Not a perfect man by a long shot. However, there is a process of overcoming. This is your therapeutic session on how to get over women. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I still deal with women. The difference is that I have gotten over my desire to please them, to depend on them for their validation. I do not deal with women out of weakness or fear of losing them. I deal with women from a position of strength. Now, I have gone periods of time in my life, many periods of time in my life, without women at all. In fact, in order to deal with a woman from a position of strength and not fear and not needing her validation, you first have to get over women themselves. You have to get over her. So this process is for you whether you are dealing with women or you choose not to deal with women. It's the same process. Indeed, getting over your addiction to women is probably the greatest challenge in a man's life besides combating a serious illness. So let's explore this for 1 second. In honesty, we are addicted to women. Addicted to her smile, her laugh, her smell, her female organ. We're addicted to pleasing them. We're addicted to wanting them. We're addicted to loving them. What you want is a beautiful woman at your side for a lifetime. Many of us. And for some, we want many women at our side for a lifetime. This is your biology. This is what we want. But what we so desperately want can be oh so bad for us. So this is a serious thing. I have known men to commit suicide over women. More than one, more than two, more than a few. And how often do we hear stories about men killing themselves and killing the women that they're involved with over a heartbreak? This is a serious thing, a serious matter here. And I'm not necessarily an expert, but what I can offer you in this conversation, what I can offer you is how I process, how I develop the ability to get over women. I can show you my process. I can communicate that to you. That is my gift to you if you will receive it. Because I have overcome, and still have some more to do, overcome my addiction to women. Now, in all honesty, there are still things I'm working on. This is a lifetime achievement. But I no longer need a woman's validation to make me feel anything. I care not what any woman or a woman thinks of me, whether she's my woman or whether she's a friend, whether she's a colleague, a coworker, whatever she may be. So what is this process like? The process of getting over women. A few principles and a few ways that I process this. For me, because I can only speak from my experience, for me, and hopefully this will help you. Number one is the realization of the detriment, the danger that lies within woman. Now, I'm not going to make this video about the pitfalls of female nature. We've talked at length, whether you be Itmore, MGTOW, or what have you. We've talked at length on female solipsistic, narcissistic, hypergamous nature. There are probably thousands of videos on this subject. This is your starting point. Getting the information, recognizing female nature. To realize what you're dealing with. To realize what you are attracted to. To realize the weakness in your own biology for this creature, this being that is a detriment to you because of her parasitical nature. There you would learn watching these videos. You will learn and realize that this creature is probably one of the most dangerous beings on the planet. And behind all that pleasure is poison. It's always poison in that pleasure, right? So it's a realization of the danger that's in women. Absorb red pill manosphere content that talks about female nature. Absorb this material. Listen to it over and over again because it speaks truth to power. Absorb it. Turn off the television, turn off the radio. Your main job is to hear as much of this as possible. And what goes into your ear, that which goes into your ear oftentimes is that which pierces your heart. So again, it's the realization of the detriment of women, and also, I would like to add, the realization of your own biological drives. Because that's the problem. You cannot do anything about the world at large. You cannot do anything about a woman's solipsistic, narcissistic, hypergamous nature. But what you can do is realize your own biological drives and seek to conquer and overcome them. To overcome your biological drive like one would overcome climbing Mount Everest. To overcome your biological drives like one would overcome an addiction to cigarettes. To overcome your biological drives like one would overcome any obstacle in life. Except this may be the biggest one. So realize that you are in for a fight against yourself, to silence your own nature, to quell the beast that is within you. The beast that is within you, which we call the sex drive, which motivates us, many of us, to work hard, to consume, to study PUA, to endeavor to be great, all for the satisfaction of the sex drive. This beast, this monster must be conquered. You are at war. And who wins the war? Whichever side of yourself you feed the most. So you have to turn off that television that is 100% simping. You cannot listen to simps videos. Stop listening to videos hearing women talk. This creature is an enemy. She's not to be negotiated or rationed with. Overcome her. Don't seek to understand her on her own merits and her own speech from her own mind. Study her as a subject, not as an equal or not as someone who has something to say. People are obsessed with the Christian and Karazins or whatever the fuck her name is. I've never listened to one of her videos. Or any of these other women. I care nothing about them. You're at war. Stop listening to women and stop talking to women. Talk about them, not with them. Talk about them, not with them. But this biological drive must be conquered. So strap in, get yourself ready, get your weapons and go to war. And these are your weapons. This is your artillery. This type of content here. The things that I say, the things that others say, at Itmore or MGTOW, this is your artillery. Load up. Number 2, because we're talking about getting over a desire for something. Keyword desire. For me, a great advantage and a great help to me was acceptance of defeat. To concede in a dating game. Although I've studied game and dealt with many women, I was never satisfied with what's out there. In all of my experiences, I've never met a lady. Never met a virtuous woman. Never met a woman who didn't have a bunch of work that she needed to do on herself. And guess what? We're human beings. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with having to have work done on yourself to become a better person. There's nothing wrong with that. But I never met a woman who didn't need a bunch of work done on herself. What am I saying? We're dealing with female species here. We're dealing with the female. We're dealing with the female species here. So although I never met a lady, never met a virtuous woman, never met a woman who didn't have a ton of work to do, guess what? They never realized that they had a ton of work to do. And that's the problem. They never endeavored to get better, become a better person, become a better girlfriend, become a better wife, so have you. They're completely sold on themselves. They think they're perfect. She will change nothing about herself but seek to change everything about you. So you must accept defeat in the dating game. That no matter how many women you sleep with, how many women you talk to, how many girlfriends you have, they are essentially all the same. Narcissistic creatures who offer nothing, imperfect beings who believe that they are perfect, with literally nothing to offer besides the wetness between her legs. That's the reality. That's the truth. Absorb that truth. You need to be real with yourself. Absorb that truth. So concede to the dating game. The dating game is a woman's playground. It means nothing to her. She has hundreds of simps approaching her every time an attractive woman walks down the street. And even if she has below average looks, there's always some simp that wants her and will treat her like she's the best thing that ever happened. You cannot compete with that. You cannot. And yes, I'm an advocate of game, but game takes a hell of a lot of energy, time, and patience. Do we even have that anymore? And for those who are still out there in the dating game, pushing at women, my hat's off to you. I have no problem with that. Just don't be a simp in a lane. That's all I ask. Do not simp out with these females. But realize that the dating game is rigged. It's over with. Maybe if you were born in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, you may have had a chance. Relationships don't work. They don't last. The woman is always seeking to overcome you. And once she overcomes you, she's bored, she's tired, she will leave you. We're in the last days and times, gentlemen. It's over with. And even if you don't believe in biblical prophecy, you can look at the signs. They're everywhere. And one of those signs that the relation between men and women nowadays, they do not work. There may be some slight exceptions to the rules, but those are only exceptions. So again, I say, realize and accept defeat. Concede that this is a woman's world. The dating game belongs to her. In this time, in this day and age, men are the servants of women. Men are the ones who are submissive to women. And in the mind of the male, in the mind of the average blue pill, simp, lame male, he was created to serve her. Although we know that the woman was created for the man and not the man for the woman. However, the society has been turned upside down. What's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. Concede. Give up. Now this is a process now. It doesn't happen overnight. But this is a realization that you need to have. That there is nothing out there. Number 3. In your thoughts, begin to tell yourself and believe and start to despise your desire to be with or please women. Start to despise that. I didn't say despise women themselves. I'm not talking about hating women, because hatred of them personally and despising them personally is not of any benefit to you. You don't hate a lion for roaring. You don't hate a dog for barking. You don't hate a baby for crying. You don't hate water because it's wet. You don't despise and hate women because of their solipsistic, narcissistic nature. Because in this society, that nature is not kept in check, is allowed to run wild. And we see the results of this, which is the destruction of American society, both nationally and globally. By allowing women freedoms and to run amok and to do what she wants to do, it has resulted in nothing but whoredom, single motherhood, and destroyed communities. We know that. We know that. But you must start to desire to develop disdain for your own biological drives and your own nature, to want her and to serve her. You must despise that part of yourself. You must look at it as a bad thing. You should start to feel ashamed of yourself for desiring to please and be with women. You must overcome this. Despise it. Dislike, have disdain for the fact that you want the comfort of a woman. Despise yourself for it. Recognize that the enemy is within you. Now, these things are not easy. And it's more than a notion. This is something that we must continue to think about and process in our mind's eye. We must dwell on this. We must eat this day and night. Realize what you're dealing with. So again, number 3 is to despise your own desires for women. Wanting something that you can't have is intense suffering, and you will never find a loyal, humble, submissive, beautiful woman that's willing to serve you. And if you did find her, you would have to make her into that woman. And that's a whole nother subject. A whole nother subject. And who has the time and energy for that? And if you do, I wish you Godspeed. Number 4. Since we know that all desire is suffering, because that which you desire is elusive. It's like trying to hold a puddle of water in your hands. Your desire to love a woman and to have a woman love you is like holding a puddle of water in your hands. It cannot stay there. It would eventually slip out of your grasp and be beyond your reach. So then we must meditate on becoming desireless. Desireless. And meditate, simply, I mean here, is the thoughts. Sitting in a quiet place, telling yourself that you desire nothing but to be desireless. Desire nothing but to be desireless. Give up. Quit. Concede. Become desireless. Desire desirelessness. Take time out to sit alone in your room, in your living room, on your couch, on your bed. Turn out all the lights. Clear your mind. And tell yourself that you need to become desireless. These are the things that I've done in my own life with great results. And I hope that it can benefit you. But become desireless. Meditate on becoming desireless. Think about it. Mull it over. Realize that this world has nothing to offer you. And as the world rejects you, as women reject you, you must also reject them and it. Reject all of society. And this must be done because society will even shame you for wanting to be desireless. We must give up on everything except what we need to do for ourselves. Give up. Break yourself. Become desireless. Meditate on that. Number 5. You must begin to internalize your ideas about women, their nature, the detriment of dealing with them. Think about this constantly. Hear this constantly. Now, one of the great ways you can do this is by talking to yourself. You can even record yourself talking about being desireless. And what we also must do, at least for a period of time, stop looking at pictures of beautiful women. We may have to lay down the pornography for a second until you can clear your mind and live in your own space of mind, living in a world that has women, but ignoring women in all forms. Not watching romantic movies, not going places where couples tend to be around, places that's more friendly to couples. We must internalize these ideas. Speak to yourself. Think to yourself. What I would do is record myself speaking to myself about being desireless. What goes into your ears eventually goes to your heart. And what goes into your heart, you will eventually walk it out. This is the internalization process. Talk about your desired thought pattern. So for example, I have a video called Women Are Nasty, Most of Them. Before I was able to speak such a thing, I had to think about it. And while I was thinking about it, I internalized it. Realize that women are disgusting. Realize that you don't need them. One of the things that I internalized recently, and I found it amazing because this is something that I just kept thinking about and I couldn't get over it. And I had all kinds of emotions. Anger. And it was fuel for me. So let me give you this example so I won't ramble on. I had a realization that all women have dealt with or will deal with at some point in time in their life a man that has another woman. That almost every woman in America that you will ever come across, at some point or another, she would deal with a man that has a woman. And this angered me because women, after they are used up, will always tell you what they won't deal with. That they won't give you what they've given to other men. So although they've given their heart, their soul, so to speak, because we know women don't really love men. Although they gave their heart and soul, so to speak, to other men, and dealt with a man and gave him her all, the next man can get nothing. So not only are you getting a used and abused woman physically, but you're getting a used and abused woman emotionally. And not used and abused by the man, but used and abused by herself, because she is the object of abuse by abusing herself with no good men, expecting things that she shouldn't expect. So although she wouldn't deal with me having another woman, she's dealt with another man having another woman. This angered me. And I would think to myself, this woman and that woman, you mean to tell me they can deal with a man for 2 years, 4 years, 5 years that has a wife, but she can't deal with me? Like I'm less than? This angered me and infuriated me. And thinking about this over and over again and talking about it with others, I internalized it to the point where this is the emotion that I have. So the emotion that I have for a woman who would state that she wouldn't deal with me having multiple women, knowing that the same woman has dealt with men who were married or had multiple women, I now have the emotion, the raw emotion. I'm not talking about just thoughts. I'm talking about the feeling, the emotion of disgust for any woman who would tell me that she wouldn't accept polygyny or wouldn't accept me having a woman in my life besides her. Disgust. And that disgust would move me to not even desire her. And how did I internalize this? The internalization process happened because I was angry. And I believed, and I do believe, that I am a greater man than all the men that woman A, B, C, D, E, F, and G have been with. These lames, these simps, these punks, better than them. and to come to a king, a god, small g, and tell me that you're not going to deal with me having my kingdom of women means you're not worthy of me. So when she walks away with me, good riddance. Goodbye. A hoe can't make me or break me. Internalization. That download is completed. And I took my emotions, I took my desire, I took the fuel of anger, kindled it, and I put it in my chest and walked it out. Truth to power. Now, this was a process, gentlemen. Didn't happen overnight. But internalize your ideas about women, their nature, the detriment of dealing with them. Think about this constantly. Record your thoughts and ideas. Listen to this content. Put it in you, man. And push for your desired result. Push for this. This is how to overcome women. This is what my process was like. And I still have pitfalls. I make mistakes. But you fall and you get up. It's not about how many times you fall. As we know, it's about how many times you what? Get up. Number 6, be patient with yourself. Eventually your thoughts and your emotions will change, and then so will your behavior. Work on yourself. Read books on this subject. But be patient. The results will come if you do the work. The mind is a powerful thing. I remember when I was younger, teenage years, running the streets of Chicago in all types of riff-raff and mischief. And I would have girlfriends, and I was very controlling and jealous. I was an insecure man. Didn't want another man looking at my woman. So I wanted a woman to be covered. Didn't realize it at the time that this is principle and this is correct, that a woman shouldn't be showing herself, especially if she has a man, a boyfriend, a husband, or what have you. However, this wasn't my reasoning. I didn't want other men looking at my women because I didn't want to have to compete against them. And I realized that I was a jealous man. And I realized that I didn't want to be a jealous man, that I wanted to be a player. And I didn't want to allow a woman's actions to influence me in the negative. That I want to always be in control of my own mind, will, and emotions. So I decided I need not to be jealous anymore. And I thought about it, I meditated on it, I worked on it, and I practiced it. I told myself I would no longer be jealous. I came to the realization I gave up on being jealous. I'll allow a woman to be. And since my goal was only sex anyway, and being that most women are whores, it shouldn't even matter anymore if a woman covers herself or not. After all, I didn't see any of these women as wife material anyway. Because guess what? Most women are not worthy to be called by your name anyway. Most women are nasty whores that will never change. Self-entitled, nasty, stupid people. They are undeserving of a good man anyway. Not good in her eyesight. Good man in a woman's eyesight is a man that'll serve her. I'm talking about a man that's naturally a leader, have dreams, purposes, and pursuits, and can develop a woman to something greater. Anyway, I worked on my jealousy. And I received the desired results. I no longer had those bubbling emotions. The greatest thing you can do as a man is control your own emotions. That's the greatest thing you can do. It's difficult, but you have to master yourself. You have to develop an internal constitution that is unwavering. This is a process. Be patient, but you can develop this. Be patient. And eventually your thoughts will start to influence your emotions, and your emotions will end up changing your behavior. Number 7, walk it out. Once you have internalized these things, it's now time to walk in these things. It is now time to be complete in yourself. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, and this is going to be an ongoing series. So there will be a part 2 to this. So these are just 7 ways on how to overcome women. You brilliant men, this is for the brotherhood. So if you will, those who have wisdom and knowledge to share, those who have wisdom and knowledge to share, those who have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, please share with the brotherhood your process of overcoming women. Your process of letting go. This is the community. This is the brotherhood. I don't care if you're white, black, Christian, Hebrew, Muslim. I don't care. We are men. This is the brotherhood. Share. I don't have all the answers, nor do I pretend to. But I will say this. There will be a part 2, most high willing. And in part 2, it will be more about practical ways to walk out these new set of behaviors once you have this internalization process going on. And maybe even more pointers and tips about the internalization process in and of itself. The process of overcoming women. We'll get more practical. More practicality and ways to get over your addiction. So look at this. Because you know this shit is therapeutic. Look at this as a Pussyholic meeting. This is Pussyholics Anonymous. And as Napoleon Bonaparte in France declared himself ruler, emperor, and king of the French, I declare myself as your motherfucking Pussyholic therapist. And we are all in therapy. And until next time, brothers, we'll talk more on this subject. Black Ram 313. And I'm out.